You're at dinner with friends. Someone makes a comment about your life choices, your job, your relationship status, and instantly your chest tightens. You smile, you laugh it off, but internally you're spiraling. For the next 3 days, that comment sits in your mind, heavy. You replay it. You analyze it. You wonder what they really think of you. Or you're about to post something online. Before you hit share, you pause. You edit, you delete, you rewrite. Not because it's unclear, but because you're terrified of judgment. So you either don't post it or you post some watered-down version that doesn't represent who you are. Here's the truth. You're living your life through other people's eyes. You're making decisions based on imagined judgments. You're filtering yourself, shrinking yourself, performing a version you think will be acceptable. And it's exhausting. So you think, I need to stop caring what people think. But then there's the fear. Does that make you selfish, cold? Does it mean you stop being kind? You don't want that either. So you're stuck. Here's what I need you to understand. There's a difference between not caring what people think and not caring about people. Most people collapse these into one. They assume if you stop worrying about opinions, you stop being considerate, but that's not true. You can be deeply kind and deeply considerate without being controlled by their opinions. The healthiest people do exactly that. They care about people without being controlled by them. Let me explain what's actually happening when you care too much. It's not empathy. It's not kindness. It's fear. Fear of rejection, criticism, not being enough. That constant monitoring of how others perceive you. That's not connection, that's anxiety. Every interaction becomes a performance review. Every conversation becomes a test you might fail. And here's the irony. The more you try to control what people think, the less authentic you become. You're so busy managing perceptions that you lose touch with who you actually are. And people feel that. They sense when you're performing. So the very thing you're doing to make people like you creates distance. Now here's what not caring what people think actually means. It doesn't mean you become rude or stop listening. It means you stop giving strangers veto power over your life. It means you stop letting people who don't know you, who don't love you, who aren't living your life, dictate your choices. It means you recognize that someone's opinion of you is just that, an opinion. Not truth, just their perspective filtered through their experiences, wounds, and biases. And you can acknowledge their perspective without letting it define you. Let me tell you about Rachel. She was 32 and living according to what her parents thought she should do. Stable job she hated, dating people her family approved of. And she was miserable. Until one day at a family dinner, her cousin made a comment about how she was playing it safe. It landed like a punch because it was true. She'd spent her adult life trying to be acceptable to people whose approval would never fill the emptiness. So she started small. She posted an opinion online she knew her family wouldn't agree with. Her hands shook. Her stomach turned, but she didn't delete it. Some people unfollowed, some argued, but some messaged privately. Thank you for saying that. She realized she'd been editing herself to avoid criticism from people who'd never agree anyway, while silencing connection with people who shared her values. Then she made a bigger change. She left her stable job for something aligned with what she cared about. Her parents were horrified. And instead of defending herself, she said something revolutionary. I understand you're worried. I love you, but this is my decision. She didn't argue. She didn't need their approval. She acknowledged their feelings without letting those feelings control her choice. That's the key. She cared about her parents without being controlled by them. Here's what Rachel learned. When you stop caring what people think, you don't become cold. You become clear. Clear about what matters. Clear about whose opinions hold weight. Clear about the difference between genuine feedback from people who know you versus projection from people operating from their own fear. You recognize that most judgment isn't about you. When someone criticizes your choices, they're often revealing their own insecurities. When someone disapproves of your life, they're often expressing discomfort with their own. Their judgment is information about them, not verdict on you. And when you get this, something shifts. You stop taking things so personally, not because you're cold, but because you understand you're not responsible for other people's emotional reactions to your existence. You can be kind, you can be respectful, but you cannot live in a way that prevents anyone from ever being uncomfortable with you. Because here's the truth, no matter what you do, someone will disapprove. You could live the most acceptable life possible and someone will still find fault. So the question isn't, how do I get everyone to approve? That's impossible. The question is, whose opinion actually matters? And the answer is the people who actually know you, who love you, who see your full humanity. That's it. Everyone else is noise. This doesn't mean you become dismissive. It means you get discerning. When someone offers criticism, you ask, do they know me? Do they love me? Are they speaking from care or judgment? Is this useful or just their discomfort? Does this align with my values? Because that's what replaces people-pleasing. Not callousness, but values. When you know what you stand for, other people's opinions become less destabilizing. Here's what this looks like practically. Someone makes a comment about your choices. Instead of spiraling, you pause, you take a breath, and you recognize this is their perspective. Not truth, not verdict, just their lens. You might say, I can see why you'd think that, without justifying yourself. Or you might say nothing and change the subject, because you don't owe anyone an explanation for living your life. Or you're about to post something. That fear comes up. What will people think? Instead of spiraling, you ask, is this true to me? If people disagree, can I handle that? And if yes, you post it. You let people think what they're going to think. Some will love it, some will hate it. Most won't care, and all of that is fine. Here's what happens when you stop caring what people think in the healthy way. You become more yourself, more honest, more present. You make decisions faster. You speak more freely. You set boundaries without guilt. You pursue what matters even when it's unconventional. And ironically, you become more connected. Because real connection doesn't happen through performance. It happens through presence. So here's what you do starting today. Stop asking, what will people think? And start asking, what do I think? Stop seeking permission and start trusting yourself. Stop defending your choices to people not living your life. Stop trying to make everyone comfortable with your existence. Let people be wrong about you. Let people disapprove. Let people misunderstand. Not because you don't care about people, but because you care about yourself enough to stop abandoning who you are for who they want you to be. Stay kind, stay considerate. Stay open to genuine feedback from people who've earned your trust. But stop letting strangers and people operating from fear dictate how you live. Start living from the inside out instead of the outside in. Making choices based on your values, not their comfort. Speaking your truth, not seeking their approval. Showing up as who you actually are, not who you think they want. That's not cold. That's not selfish. That's free. That's authentic. That's how you build a life that's actually yours. The people who matter won't mind, and the people who mind don't matter.